So, guys, what are you planning on future videos?
Actually, like I mentioned about my latest video, is that I think I might take my channel into this direction, and hopefully it will work in the sort of way that I could ask people like once a month or something, like which movie direct not comparison do you want to see next, and they will like could like vote on it, something like that. Because right now this is what I'm most excited for, but we'll see.
And what about you, Mike?
Well, a lot of people have got back to me saying I did this little introduction to Japanese cinema a couple of years ago, and I thought I'd do something similar for British film.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if people would be interested in that, but I'd quite like to do it.
You were also going to do a new retrospective of some art house director.
Yeah, I know you said you were a bit frightened of it. Yeah, it's Valerian Borowczyk, who's kind of like art house porn type thing from the 70s. Great fun, you'll love it. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's a brilliant director, really strange director.
And Steve, what are you doing? What are you working or studying?
Yeah, I went back to school in the fall, and that's also at the same time I started this YouTube channel because I went to car sales again, and this was probably like my worst experience with that because I'm always going back to that, getting burned out. But of course, it depends on who you're working with and where. But that's just not my passion. So I went back into to finish a degree that I was half finished with back in the days on like journalism, social media, I guess you could call it. Um, I don't find it that interesting, I have to admit, but I mean, at least I'm doing something. And then I took out a student loan and have been doing a part-time job at a retail, which I already worked in back in the days. And that is actually just kind of fun because I just go in there and, I just click myself in and click out, and I don't have to take the job home with me. So I guess
Hmm.
that's I like that experience. That's new from like the bigger sales job when you're always taking calls and emails, and it's too much for me. I'm just not that, it's just not who I am.
Yeah, that's
That's
why I
un-
did subtitling for so long because you go in, you do it, then when it's finished, and your mind is free for everything else, and that's just best kind of job, I think.
Exactly, yeah. So
but Mike, what about you? Are the subtitles completely done for you now?
I'm trying to go freelance. I'm trying to get some freelance work, subtitling football and F1 and all those lovely sports. But it's not working out as easy as I thought. So I might have to rely on YouTube and Patreon,
Okay,
see how it
yeah,
goes.
but you're still
yeah, but
moving.
I'm still trying to move, yeah. Um, I've also thought if I can't sell, I could rent it and make some income that way. Try and do that. But then that will make me a landlord, and I don't like the idea of being a landlord.
like a count,
Yeah,
like the Count of Monte Bartlett.
yeah, that's right. Coming round to collect. Give me my
Yeah.
money.
I guess I have to do like ranking some Brian De Palma films one day because I'm always saying that name, aren't I? Yeah. But it's also just that I think it's like a fun name to say, Brian De Palma.
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you could do it if it's your. Is he your favorite director?
Um, I've been wondering who's my favorite director, and I mean, I have a few names in mind. There's definitely Clint Eastwood, Stanley Kubrick, Alfred Hitchcock, Brian De Palma, and sorry to say, Quentin Tarantino, because I just realized that I'm always, excited to see what he does next. And then Martin Scorsese, definitely. Yeah, some of those guys, at the top of my head. Yeah.
What about Icelandic directors?
Um, well, there's one guy that was doing these comedies back in the days. So this is Thráinn Bertelsson. He did many fun comedies back in the days, and he did a trilogy of films, and this is one of those films called Dalalíf, which means like, on a farm, like living on a farm. And then there's one film that's called like New Life, and another film that's called Policeman's Life. And Policeman's Life, it's so much fun. It's about these like two idiots, and they're sort of like Dumb and Dumber, like sort of like ahead of its time. But of course, Dumb and Dumber is inspired by things like Laurel and Hardy. So I mean, it's like, yeah, and these films were as well, I guess you could say. and just yeah, he did lots of fun comedies back in the days. I think this guy.
Cool. What was it from the 90s?
80s, yeah.
80s, 80s. Okay, yeah.
That could be a good comparison video. Della Leaf and Dumb and Dumber. I'd watch that.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about doing something like top 10 like Icelandic films. I mean, I could definitely definitely have that written out. So
I found ranking videos so hard to do.
Yeah.
Every time I think about doing it, I'm always not doing it because I would just change my mind every time.
yeah, I totally get that. But I'm just like when I did my like Mission Impossible ranking, I just try not to overthink it. I was just like, yeah, I think that's like this and that, and then I think the middle is always the hardest in every ranking.
Yeah.
It's like I know what is at the bottom. I know what's at the top. Like for example, the James Bond films. Like my
Mm.
top seven and like bottom seven, that's pretty accurate. And then the middle is just like all over the place.
Yeah, but Bond movies are difficult to rank.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
There are so many of them, and I always feel like sometimes I get tired of James Bond, and sometimes I'm just really in the mood for James Bond.
Yeah, that's so totally my jam for sure.
There's going to be a new one soon, aren't there? Or what?
They
They
say
keep saying
that
it.
they are, yeah, they say that they're on the hunt for some casting something. I don't know. What were
Okay.
you saying?
Yeah, they keep saying that they're going to have a new James Bond, but then it never turns up, does it? I just think they don't want to do it anymore.
You
No,
know,
but
I
I
thought
sorry.
yeah, I thought something would happen as soon as like Amazon took over because the broccoli just wasn't boiling. You know, it was just flat on its face.
I mean, they keep talking about that Aaron Taylor Johnson, but he is the world's worst actor. He's just got no personality. He's rubbish.
Uh, Sorry to say, yes, he's not great.
He's not. He's
I mean,
awful.
he's no James Bond. I mean, I would go for Henry Cavill over him any day of the week and twice on Sunday, and he's not even a great actor, you know. But I mean, he's at least got some charm, you see.
I think back in the day they should have had Clive Owen. He'd have been a great Bond.
No doubt, no question of that, no question of that. I agree. I,
Yeah, but I think it's like they isn't it Stephen Knight who's going to write the script or something like?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, who
yeah,
wrote
Dennis Villeneuve
Monk with
is
Tom
correct.
Hardy in a car for an hour and a half.
I like that film
I
actually.
like it as well, but it's not really Bond, is it?
No, no, no. But he also did that series that was very popular. I can't remember what it's called.
No, I can't. Yeah, the name's gone. He's a good writer.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so. But I didn't really think he would do Bond. But perhaps they would fire him.
but then Sam Mendes did Bond, you know.
Yeah,
So
sure, sure.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought Sam Mendes was good when he made the Skyfall, but I didn't
yeah,
like so much his second film. It was Spectre, wasn't it?
yeah.
Was
That's
Actually, yeah. It falls flat on his face, you know, like after the train fight. I actually like the first half quite a bit. I mean, I know some people don't, but I guess the slow pace and just him going out by himself on this investigation, I think it works out great. But after the train fight sequence, it just becomes very bizarre. This connection between him and Blofeld, it just doesn't make sense, and it feels so forced to sort of make him be like the mother of all villains, and he's been doing all these things like in the prior film, so he's supposed to be the manipulator of all those things. It just doesn't make sense, and I also think Daniel Craig is sort of like fed up with playing James Bond in that film more than the others. Just
yeah, I don't think he plays that well in that movie.
no, has a few sequences that just feel a little bit off. So
Yeah, I think he's quite good in his first three films, even though I don't like the second one he did. I can't remember what that was
Quantum
called.
of Solace, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I know you like it, Mike, but
I mean, it's all over the place. You know, it's just like, but it has a few good sequences, but it like makes me feel like, you know, just like sick, you know, like I have like I'm gonna vomit because it's just the editing, it's too much.
yeah, it is too much. Yeah.
Uh,
Although the Mexico Day of the Dead sequence at the start of Spectre is amazing.
yeah,
it
That's
is,
incredible.
yes, it is, yeah.
I
That's
also
true.
like I also liked what is she called the Bond girl. I can't remember her name. Lea
Uh,
Seydoux.
Oh
Lea
yeah,
yeah,
Seydoux.
Leia
Lea
Seydoux.
Seydoux.
Yeah,
She's lovely. Yeah.
I think she's a great actress, actually.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
she's totally fine, but they don't have any chemistry in Spectre. But somehow they come much better off in the
In
No
the
Time
last
to Die.
one, yeah, that I was really impressed by her there because I couldn't remember her that much from the previous one.
Yeah. So they fixed that problem by making it much more believable in that film. So kudos for that at least.
Yeah, but do you think it will go onto streaming James Bond, or do you think it would be released in cinemas?
Yes, I think James Bond will always belong to cinema. It's just
Okay.
he's the most iconic character of all time, and I don't think they will take that away from us. But I'm always getting more and more surprised, like going on Netflix and Disney, and that, like a new film pops up that I haven't heard of, and it's just like from 2026. But then I think to myself, this is a film that I would have seen in cinema before COVID. But
Yeah.
things are just changing so much.
Yeah.
I remember when do you remember the film Roma by Alfonso Cuarón?
Yeah. Yes.
And I sort of there was about three screenings of that or something silly in London, and I went to one of them, and that is a big screen movie. There's no way you can get that movie on a small screen. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was sad. It was sad. It was released on. Was it Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually looked it up. I was looking for, I think I looked for something like foreign or niche or something, and that was the first film that came up. And I just pressed play and started watching it. And I mean, fortunately, I do have like a 77-inch like OLED, like one of the best TVs ever made, and because that's just very important. Cinema is so important to me. So yeah, and I think it came out great, and yeah, a fantastic film. I thought that I think I mentioned in one video. I think that the camera was sort of like an entity in that film. It's like
Yeah.
watching from afar. And like 15 minutes into the film, then there's like a car coming into the garage, and then there's like another entity in the film, and there's like so much fun to. Yeah, I mean that film was like a very like big cinema experience for me. I thought.
Because like I remember there's one scene towards the end where she walks into the ocean and there's these waves crack and on the big screen it's like, it's almost like the sea was coming towards you. Whereas if I'm watching
Yeah,
on my TV, it's like, well, she's just going for a swim.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a good film. I think he's an interesting filmmaker, Alfonso Cuarón, but he's sort of like sometimes he nails it, and sometimes I feel like he misfires.
Yeah.
mhm.
I think he tries a bit too hard to impress.
Yeah. Yes.
Instead of just relaxing and making a movie, he's kind of like, I want to make this big, what Gravity, was it Gravity, with Sandra Bullock, which made me
I
forget.
remember.
But yeah,
Yeah,
brilliantly
you
made.
know,
But
yeah, guys, that's what that's exactly what I thought about Christopher Nolan seeing his latest film Oppenheimer, because I think he's just kind of like pushing his style like way too much in our face, like with like fast editing and music and scenes where it doesn't really call for it, you know.
Yeah, but it was very popular, Oppenheimer. I actually liked it more than some of his films, but I felt I'm not a huge fan of his work as other people are.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
not. Go on.
I mean, what do you guys think of him? Because I think like Interstellar is his best film, and I think it's like he's been sort of like going losing it a little bit since then. I mean, Tenet was just all over the place. Him trying to be like very very smart without pulling it off, which I think some directors tend to do when they're so sure of themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's as smart as he thinks he is.
No.
That's the problem. I mean, if he just relaxed and made films to his level, I think he'd be a decent filmmaker. And he needs a writer. He needs a good writer.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Because I think his brother
Be-
writes, doesn't he? Doesn't his brother write the movie?
yes. Yes, and TV series also. I think his brother does. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember I quite like some of his early stuff, Memento and Following and The Prestige. I quite like them
Mhm.
because they are more thriller like, and it's more my style.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I'm not a huge superhero fan, so I wasn't so keen on those. And I wasn't very fond of the one with DiCaprio. I can't remember what that was called.
Uh,
Inception, yeah.
Inception, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but I know many people liked it.
You see, I think that could have been a great movie if he'd got a different writer.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But, oh well.
you like it, Steve?
Inception, yeah, I do like Inception, but it's been a long time since I've seen it though. But like I said, I think my problem is mostly that like seeing Oppenheimer recently is that just I feel like he's just doing too much where
Mm.
he should calm down a little bit. Like scenes where people are like talking about things, I guess that he's I think if I'm trying to put myself into his mindset, it feels like he's thinking to himself, I mean, these people are saying things and I need to make it like feel more exciting when it doesn't really call for that.
I agree because I was also seeing a video by a YouTuber some years ago who compared him to David Lean, the older director. It's like David Lean also started with the small films, and then he went big,
Yeah,
and he sort of lost focus. And it's this bit the same with Nolan.
yeah, I agree.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I actually think he should try to make a smaller film again, just to see if that would work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I think films like I mean Insomnia, which for example is I mean nowhere near like a best film of all time, but I think it's a perfect thriller in its own way. Just the way that it's put together and such.
I've met Christopher Nolan's mum,
Oh,
actually.
you wrote it once. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a guide around Highgate Cemetery in London. And
Oh,
she
is she
was
really? Wow.
yeah, she was showing us around, and at one point she goes, "My son made a film here. You may have heard of him." And he goes, "Who was your son?" And she goes, "Oh, it's Christopher Nolan." Oh yes, come on. It was the
Wow.
Prestige that he'd made.
Ah, yeah. Sure.
Mm.
I remember you have done some videos about the author of the Prestige. Was it Christopher Priest?
Yeah. You
You
see,
like
that's what
his
I mean.
books?
Like
Yeah.
that, the material of the Prestige, I think, is really good. It's a really good story, and that's what Christopher Nolan needs. He needs other people's ideas. Then I think he could make a decent movie. But oh well, yeah. Him and his brother just need to sort of, pipe down a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So too sure of themselves a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that happens when you go to Hollywood.
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
want
mean another.
something. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean another example is what's he called the director of like Bone Tomahawk, the S. Craig Sailor. We talked
Oh,
about him, Mike. He did two terrific films, Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99. But then he does this film called Direct Across Concrete, and
yeah. It's
yeah,
awful.
it's awful because it's like he was so sure that his style and way of film was like working that he just went overboard with it.
Yeah,
It's not a good film.
yeah.
So
Brawl in Cell Block, whatever it is a guilty pleasure of mine from the last 20 years. It's incredibly violent, and it is great fun.
yeah. Exactly, yeah. So I think that's just a common thing. These filmmakers become like too sure of themselves, and there's like some like style that they're working with, and they're thinking to themselves like, yeah, I'm so great. I can just do this and that, and it's going to work. But it isn't always that easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we won't go to Hollywood.
But I would just love to have like an easy acting job, maybe like on a soap opera or something. When I just walk into a set with like nice people and just like remember some lines and just like doing some drama. That would be the kind of life that I would love to do.
Yeah,
I
make it
would
happen.
imagine. Yeah. But I think I actually think when the way you describe theater work, then I think that is the best way to start, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I think actors on films must also suffer, especially if you are not an famous actor. I have been an extra on a Netflix series. I actually did a video about that in the
yeah,
beginning of the year, and it was interesting to see, but but it was also very boring. Let me just say that.
Um, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I think that the waiting time is a problem
yeah,
because when I was an extra, they were sort of writing, you have to be there on these specific times. But even though they write that, it still takes much longer time.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've thought about pursuing, like these extras a little bit, but yeah, I'm not quite sure if I will.
you can make good money. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
you can. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, well, sure, why not?
Perhaps there's some famous or upcoming famous Icelandic director who will discover you.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, just I'm just not good with putting myself out there. I mean, it's taken so long for me to make this YouTube channel. As you guys know. So, I guess I need to be better at that.
Yeah, I think it takes you a long way these days. If you're pushy, if you push yourself all the time, you can get far. It's annoying, you
It
know.
is, yeah, yeah.
How is, sorry, a different subject. How is the weather where you are?
Here in Iceland.
I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, the day now has been a bit terrible, like raining and just like a lot of wind. And I was even thinking about going to the store before we started recording, and I looked out and I was just like, nah, I don't know about that.
Hey, don't
Um,
complain. It's better than this blooming heat wave. Flipping out. It's a nightmare.
yeah, I don't know. We've had a few good days here for sure. I mean, no doubt, no question of that. But it's looking like this week and and maybe the rest of the summer is going to be rather. We'll see.
When is the best time to visit Iceland, do you think? If you're to,
Um, well, I mean. It's a big spectacle to see in June and July because there's like daylight 24 hours, and that
Mm.
is obviously, the hottest time of year. But I mean, then in like December and January, it's like dark 24 hours. So that gets very depressing. I have to admit that. So, I mean, I guess it depends on, which end of the spectrum you're on, because this land is just like kind of like bipolar. It's either this or that. And then we get some days where it's like sun and then it's raining and then it's fog and then it's like, you know, thunders and then it's sun and it's just like poof, it's all over the place.
because I went in
I,
September and these people said you've come at exactly the wrong time. You should either come height of summer or height of winter, but don't come any other time.
No, but actually, no, Mike, though, I think September is like May and September are probably my most favorite months because it's
Okay.
starting to be, in May it's starting to be a bit hot, I mean hotter, it's not hot. And then in September it's like still around like 10 degrees, but these months are like a more relaxed because I feel like people get so manic here in the summer. Like if we get like 10, like 10, 12 degrees and sun, everything becomes like lots, just. But September is and May are like more like relaxing sort of like months. I think September is probably my favorite month. So there you go.
My one day that I spent in Copenhagen, it was raining, but I still went round and I looked at everything, looked at the royal palaces and everything.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Ah,
I was in Copenhagen with my family when I was 8 years old. Went to the Tivoli like all the time,
yeah.
and there was like this biggest tower that I've ever seen. What do you call that? That like goes up and down. I could never do that.
No, I can't remember what it's called, but I know what it is. Yeah.
I loved that Tivoli. It's so much fun.
It's nice being in Tivoli. Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of the place every tourist go to when they are visiting Copenhagen. They want to go to Tivoli or see the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
But the Little Mermaid isn't very special. Let me just say that. No,
Yeah.
but I can say I've never been to Iceland, but I want to go. But I have been to Britain many times, or several times at least.
You've lived in the UK, haven't you? You lived in,
For 6 weeks, yeah, when I was in language school, yeah. Sometimes when people go to different countries, they always want to go to the capitals.
hmm,
Yeah.
But I,
Mhm.
I always think people shouldn't go to the capitals. They should
yeah,
visit outside the capitals.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah, no question of that, no question of that. Because it's like too touristy sometimes. Like for example, in like Mike, in the center of Reykjavik, it's like, touristy like all over the place. But there are much more beautiful things to see in Iceland than that. I mean, that's just yeah.
But you have some places where you could, how should I say, you could go into the water. It's hot, isn't it true, in Iceland?
You mean the hot springs, yeah.
Yeah,
Like like
yeah.
like in the songs, I come from a land of the ice and snow where the hot springs blow. Yeah, yeah, you can definitely see that.
Ah.
So there's like tours to go around to see, many surreal things in Iceland. But the surreal things are not really here in the capital. Those are just like touristy stores, and of course you see a big beautiful church. But that's pretty much it. So
Yeah. And there's the Blue Lagoon is down the road, isn't it? I've been in the
Yeah,
Blue.
well, it's like a half an hour, yeah, Blue Lagoon, yeah, yeah, that was a big spectacle. Then there's of course there was like the volcano eruption going on there all the time. So yeah,
I had that on the live internet feed, that volcano. I just sort of sat and watched it for. So-
yeah. I mean, I would rather watch that than football at least. Like I always say, like I would rather watch a painting go dry than watch football. So I mean, I would also just watch like some volcano eruption than watch football. That's for damn sure. But maybe that's just me.
I'll admit
Uh,
though that England-Mexico game, come on, that was quite exciting.
Yeah, but it's
I,
it's just like I'm watching like guys like play with a ball for 90 hours and there's like maybe three goals in like all game. It's just nothing's happening.
I know, true.
I have to admit I love football, but yeah,
I can watch handball. I mean, there's the action like going back and forth.
I don't. Yeah, handball is okay. It's not very popular in Britain, I know, but handball is okay. But I football is my sport.
Okay.
I've played it myself also, so I sort of have a love for it. I watch a lot of games at the moment.
What position do you play?
When I played, I played left back.
Oh, left
Is it?
back. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Even though I'm a right-handed or right-legged, I don't know what's called in English, but I played at the left side.
Okay, cool.
uh, so yeah, but I would say though I would prefer movies over football.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that warms my heart. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but I'm sort of more like Mike knows it, and you have also discovered, Steve. I'm sort of more into the period from 97 no 1939 to 1979. That is my period.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, I've noticed that, and I've also noticed that you guys are big on like the 60s and the 70s. I think that's fair to
Yes.
say. Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm,
Yeah.
I'm the same. Like from the sort of late 20s to sort of late 70s. That's my stamping ground, man. Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to decide which decade I prefer the most because I guess I'm just so much into discovering things and there's so much film history of course back in the days and then I want to see how it evolves and that's why I think you guys probably noticed that I've done so many various things on my channel so I guess I like various things um but I mean I think the 20s is very 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 fascinating just to see the beginning of sort of where cinema was beginning and then how it was evolving. And then of course I'm very much a fan of the 60s because of obviously that's when James Bond came around. And then I guess you could say, I mean, there's something very special about the 70s, the atmosphere of the 70s. I think that's that's just something that I think we'll never get back. So,
Have you ever watched Columbo, Steve?
oh, I don't believe
It's
I
a
have.
it's a TV series that was back then. Mike and I are big fans.
Yeah,
It
love it.
sounds it sounds very familiar. Have you done a video on it, Michael?
Yeah, if you like sort of American 70s America, you'll love it. All those lovely big cars with their big bonnets. Yeah.